It's day 8 here and you can see that the plastering's been done today. So let's have a closer look at it. You can see we've got a lot of spots on the wall. Those are all our fixings through the villa board into the stud frame. And then you can see we've got our horizontal and vertical lines running here. These are our joints between our sheet. And as I pointed out last time, villa board has a little rebate on either side of the sheets, and that allows you to have this nice little plaster bridge there between the two. So that's really handy. We'll have a quick look around the entire room here. You can see pretty much everything's been plastered up along those joints. So what we're expecting tomorrow actually is waterproofing. So we're going to have a real thorough look over this plastering work and see where we land. So this is our vanity area here, and this is going to be the splashback zone. So we are going to want to see some waterproofing on this, especially around our tap penetration points here. So let's have a little bit of a look. You can see that we've got our plastic on here. This is loose. It will be able to remove, so the waterproofer can get a turnout onto there and then put it back on and protect it. One thing that is a little bit concerning is we have our plumber's cap on here, but there is actually no room for the waterproofer to get down and terminate the waterproofing onto the brass thread inside there, so that actually can have a permanent seal. Really common defect is waterproofer might come in, turn out onto this temporary cap there, pat himself on the back for a job well done. Then the plumber comes along later, rips this off to put the tap on or the mixer on, and big hole in the waterproofing, right? So we're gonna point that out to our builder and our waterproofer tomorrow, make sure that doesn't happen. We effectively have the same thing over here. Almost no gap in there. That have to be a very small bit of a connection there to actually do anything. Now, if we have a look at the shower area, and this is the only real vertical element that we're actually worried about because of the amount of water that will be coming from our shower head up here, splashing off whoever's in the shower and going onto our walls. So for the shower area, or any area where you're going to be applying a waterproofing membrane like this, it's really important that your substrate is water resistant. So another common thing that goes wrong with substrates is we've got a water resistant FC sheet in here, a villa board sheet, and then we have a non-water resistant plaster. So I'll be checking with the builders about what they actually used in here, but it does look to be fine as far as what I can tell from these here, just from the texture and the solidity of it. It does appear to be appropriate. But the other thing I'm a little bit concerned about is how all of the joints, especially these external joints here, have just been plastered up. See down the bottom of the wall here, these joints have actually been left open, which is great. That means our flexible sealant's going to go in as part of the waterproofing system, give it a bit of flexibility. But then here, and if we have a look up under here, see that little bit of a gap there. I don't really like that these have been filled in with a rigid plaster, because that means our waterproofer doesn't have any gap or recess there to put a sealant in there and create a bit of a bridging between our different sheets that form that niche. So what I'm probably going to ask them to do is actually remove that plaster out between those sheets there, so that the waterproofer can come in, put a flexible sealant in, then run their waterproofing over the top and have a nice little bit of movement accommodation at those horizontal to vertical junctions there. Now, if we have a look up around the top here, you might look at this and say, well, what are all these gaps? That's going to be pretty ugly. Well, the reason they weren't plastered up is because they're going to be covered by the cornice that's going to go in there at the top. So that'll all be good. And yes, we have our plasterboard in our ceiling here. That's all been plastered up as well. Now, in a similar way, you might look around our cavity slider door frame here and see all these gaps. Well, keep in mind, we are going to have our architraves around our door as well. So that's what they're there for. They're going to bridge that gap and they won't be seen. Looking pretty complete. So we do have our waterproofer coming in tomorrow. Going to be keen to meet him here first thing in the morning, talk about his strategy, talk about these few little things that are got to be done perfectly in the substrate preparation there. Famous saying is that substrate is your first layer of waterproofing. So we want to get off to the right start here and make sure they get everything done and really showcase some good waterproofing installation. So I'll see you tomorrow.